Hello, everybody, and welcome to Investor Party. If you are watching on Facebook, go ahead and click on the link and come and join us here to answer your questions. We are joined here today by none other than the bad boy of real estate himself, Mr. Jason Palliser. I was going to say something so much worse, and I did not. You're welcome. Hi, Jason.
Yes, the first time. It's the first time you held back. I'm proud of you. Nice to be here.
Thank you. I do try to hold back. You don't make it easy. You definitely don't make it easy. You are easy, but you don't make it easy.
Okay. Well, I just brushed my teeth, and I think that qualifies for you, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine. So welcome to the party. Carlos is joining in. People start to trickle in right about now. So what we want to talk about, for those of you who are watching on Facebook and don't know, Jason Palliser has been a marketing guru for real estate for the past 145 years. He decided to sell his soul to the devil and came up with an amazing product, which we're going to be talking about today, where it is absolutely filthy, dirty marketing strategies. Is that not right, Jason? Did I say anything inaccurate?
No, that's pretty straightforward and fair. Yeah. Get paid to do it by hedge funds, and we don't get paid to lose.
Oh, you don't get paid to lose. Now, what would you define a loss?
Entering a marketplace and averaging any less than at the hedge fund level or what we call institutional money. Anything less than 20 homes a month would be a loss.
And that's what you typically average?
Yeah, at the hedge fund level, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what markets are you currently in?
Right now we are primary where I used to live, St. Louis. We have Louisville, Nashville, Phoenix, San Antonio, and Atlanta right now for bigger clients.
Okay. So, and how did you start that? So we want to talk about that scaling model, because those of us who have been participating and actually building their business systems with us on Real Estate Survivor, we've been talking about setting your businesses up to succeed and to scale, not trying to focus on a property, but rather building your systems. And that's something you specialize in, is building business systems, correct?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so as you know, as you guys know, but maybe anybody who hears this doesn't know, for 20 plus years, I've spoke and got paid to speak on different topics on real estate investment. It started with me living in the investment financing space. I specialize in investment financing. And then I moved over to big companies, started hiring me to speak for that. And then I moved over to investment myself, because people would walk away from closing with 50 grand and I would close a loan and make 2 or 3 grand. And I'm like, I got a degree in math. Those things don't play well with my brain. So what happened is I said, I'm going to invest myself. And so as I started investing, I looked around, I'm like, man, people don't market well. So I literally, for about a 5-year stretch, dove into every marketing technique that there was related to real estate investment. And what I did was start fine tuning that, and then created a software around it to make my life easier, and then gave it to the public, which you're aware of. And so I built that company up. It's used by some of the largest trading companies in America. And then I sold that company. In that meantime, what happened was this hedge funds came calling like, hey, you're pretty good at marketing. We hear that you can put systems in place to grab deal after deal after deal in the marketplace. And we're averaging 18 homes a month. We need to average 35 homes a month for 30 months to hit our goal. And so they hired me. And once I performed, the next one, they just referred another one and another one and another one. And that's kind of how it graduated from there. And once I sold the software company, I started doing it for individual investors. So putting systems in place is critical, because you could be doing 15 things, and if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, you wake up, you get the ball rolling, and it's 1 o'clock, and you feel like you don't have anything accomplished. So what a system can do is keep you doing the right things in the right order. We put benchmarks in place saying, hey, do this activity. We know it's a high impact activity to get you deals, and you should do it first every day. And here's why. It should take you 5 minutes. So if it takes you 10 minutes, you have a real benchmark to go back saying, okay, I'm following the system, but I need to do a course correction. So the beauty of having systems in place is trackability, ease of use. As an example, if I give you 1,000 good leads, if I give Bo 1,000 good leads in Miami, because he's down there in Miami, and he wants to attack those leads, right? And all of a sudden, Bo looks up and it's 1 o'clock, and he's like, "Did I talk to this person yet or that person?" You need to have how many text messages can Bo get out to homeowners saying, "Hey, are you interested in selling your house? Because I'm interested. I would love to buy it. I would love to talk to you about that." But he can only do so many per hour. So when you put systems and have software and resources in place, Bo can wake up and have a coffee and just simply do this: click, 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 and all of a sudden, in a matter of an hour, he's hit all 1,000 of them. So it's ease of use. It's speed. It's being able to do this at a high level, and so that's what systems do for you. It keeps you organized. It allows people to flow in and out of your business. So as an example, it'll allow people to flow in and out of your business to grow it, because Bo doesn't necessarily need to do those text messages in the example I'm using, but he can have somebody on his team do it. But if he doesn't have a system that somebody can plug into, then they have to come sit right next to Bo, and sometimes Bo forgets to put on deodorant. That's not efficient, right?
That is, sorry, Bo, not calling you out. No, he doesn't smell. He's fine. He takes like 4 showers a day. I mean, look at him. So yes, you're right. Having systems are absolutely imperative. And that's one thing I learned as I was trying to get my business rolling, especially if you're someone who likes to travel. Now, during COVID, that has not been the same. But when I was building my business, I was doing it while I was on the road and having a really hard time. I went to Jason's 2-day blueprint where he taught us like 40 different ways of attacking your market. He's adding to it all the time. And I was able to actually implement several things with my partner, one of my partners at the time, Javier Anojo. We had a great time. We hung out and we learned a ton. One of my favorite strategies that you talk about is actually your tax lien strategy. Can you touch on that for a second?
Yeah, so when we do a blueprint, we show, most people do the same 5 things, as you know, Jacob. So when you guys came to the blueprint, we showed you, I like that you say 40. We're getting close. We're almost to 40, right? So we show you not the same 5 things that everybody does: a vacant list, high equity list, code violations, and that's all they have. And they send text messages and postcards and letters. So one of those 30 plus techniques that we teach you, because if you're doing it 30 ways in a city, you can suffocate it. It's almost, no matter where you look, every conceivable off-market lead or opportunity is in front of you, and that's what you need to do as an investor, and we can solve that, as you know. But the tax one is my favorite one of all time. So out of 30 different techniques, we can show you how to do direct mail for free, which means you can compete with the biggest players in town, and they can't stop you, and it doesn't cost you anything. First page of Google for free, but my favorite is tax delinquents. And why? Here's why. If it was Jason, Jacob, and Bo Bank, and we have a $300,000 loan on the property, and that person's behind on taxes, every state in America puts laws in place that says if you're this far behind, we will take your house by law because we're going to get our tax money. So what happens is every state in America has laws in place that supersede that first mortgage that Jason, Jacob, and Bo Bank have. Well, we're not going to lose a $300,000 loan, right? So what's going to happen is this: we're not going to lose the $300,000 loan because somebody's behind on their property taxes. We're going to foreclose on that property. So the houses that are marching towards tax sale typically are free and clear of mortgages. So think about this: out of all the conceivable things you could do as an investor, all the different ways that you could go, bankruptcies, for sale by owners, and you should attack every single niche that there is. But shouldn't you put effort on the ones that by and large, if they're marching towards tax sale, that are free and clear? I would, because you can create almost any type of real estate solution for that particular individual besides just offering cash on the house. They can do owner financing for it. They're in a pickle. If they're missing taxes, they're in a pickle. So what we do is this: most investors, as you know, just get a delinquent tax list and send out postcards and letters and text messages saying, hey, before you lose your house to tax sale, I'd like to talk to you about purchasing your house and put some cash in your pocket. That's what they all do. And they've been taught by so-called gurus to be consistent, just be consistent and do the same stuff over and over and over. But here's what I know with certainty: when they have 100 of those, they just call those people, because everybody's doing the same thing. They call them, make your offer. Go ahead, make your offer. Lowball me, make your offer. Well, what we did, what I tested out using the bigger companies' money, the institutional money, over a 6-year period, 100 plus cities, I tested about 100 different variations. I think 90 something, but almost 100. variations of a tax assistance program. So we come with a whole different approach. And as you know, because you've been through the blueprint, each technique out of those 30 that we teach you is at a high level. It's to get the highest response. So we get nasty response rates where everybody else does a direct mail campaign and gets a zero to 0.5 to 1%. And if they get two, they throw their legs in the air and they scoot their butt across the carpet because they're excited, right? When we send out a campaign, we're at 8, 9, 10% response rate, which is astronomical.
That's
And
huge, actually.
yeah, so what we do is this: we send out a tax care letter, and I'll just say it off the cuff. It's not verbatim on the letters that, this is what I'm trying to say to you is about 100 variations deep. But hey, we noticed you're behind on your state property taxes. At our organization, we look to try and pool funds together to help potentially pay a portion of those back taxes for those who qualify for assistance. If you'd like to see if you're eligible for assistance, then give us a call at or visit us at, and then also reference tax assistance codes TAC 424001. If you're not familiar with tax assistance code TAC 424001, it's because I made it up. And so that's why you're not familiar with it. But guess what? Everybody that gets that marketing, it's just an internal code for our company, right? And so they call and they say, hey, I'm calling about tax assistance code TAC 424001. I was wondering if I could qualify. And then guess what? They call you. They don't say, hey, make your offer, make your cash offer. They actually tell us everything that's wrong. We ask them about their financial situation. Is the property in good working order? Does anything need to be fixed? And then we go down and we issue tax vouchers to them. If they do certain things, then we will pay a portion of their back taxes. But here's the thing: 99% of the time, it's so far gone that helping them with a portion of their taxes is just a Band-Aid. It's not going to correct the overall situation. And so we have different buckets that we take them through. As you know, it's very detailed. It took years to develop not only the way to get them to call with the right frame of mind, but then all the different things that we offer them, to try and help them, all the way down to buying their house. Because most of the time what happens, asking the questions in the right way, which you've seen inside the blueprint, we had this all built on a map. Jacob, you were there. You didn't even have to take any notes at the blueprint because it's all built in the map.
Awesome. And I love that software, by the way. I use it all the time. It actually helps if you're a visual learner like I am, it actually helps as opposed to being someone that's very analytical. But if you're analytical, it makes complete sense to you as well because it's all systems and processes, which I called the S word for a very long time.
Yeah, so I mean, so you didn't even have to remember anything, but you saw how comprehensive it was. Where you win or lose is when that call comes in, saying the right questions, asking the right things, and we walk you through that. So imagine out of 30 different techniques, that's just one of them. It's my favorite one of all time. It's attacking, by and large, free and clear houses to try and help homeowners. And it gives us the biggest spreads on the deals when we find a solution for homeowners. So yes, out of the 30 different techniques that we teach, it's my favorite one, bar none. And 18 of those 30 techniques that we teach people are free. It took me years to figure that out on other people's budgets. So
that one is really interesting to me because I think it's always a very lucrative strategy when you're going after tax liens and deeds. And I live in Florida. For those of you who don't know anything about tax liens and deeds, Florida has both. So what the difference is, when you do a tax lien or a tax deed, your worst case scenario is you're making money on your money, and your best case scenario is you're getting a property for pennies on the dollar. So it's really a fantastic strategy if you know how to get into it. But now that we are in this post-COVID world where people have been deferring on their rent and their mortgages, there's going to be something interesting coming down the pipeline. Now, we are watching, and Jason, I love your insight on this. We are watching the government continue to change the laws around foreclosure. Now, why are they doing that? A couple of reasons. There's so many people that are in that boat right now that if everyone went to foreclosure, the banks would literally have nothing but toxic assets. Therefore, the banks themselves would be in jeopardy of closing, which would be an economic disaster. If we remember 2008 and 9, you understand what's going on there. So that's being changed law-wise, but government still has to run. So property taxes are still going to have to be paid even if they are deferring their mortgage payments. What opportunity, Jason, do you see coming from that situation?
Yeah, so people have gotten, and now you're just going to get me to admit that I have a lot of gray coming in, and I'm old. Um, I've been doing this 20 plus years. I've seen the cycle 2 or 3 times. And now working with institutional money, hedge fund level players that do 1,000 homes in the city, 2,000 homes. Um, they do $1 million plus in research before they enter a city. So they'll research and spend 5 million in 5 different cities and decide what city they're going to attack. So they have a lot of analytics and data, and and me doing it for 20 plus years. Here's what I would tell you. They're just all we're doing is getting people accustomed to not making payments, and then once they open it back up again, like I'm waiting. I just got a text message. I literally just got a text this morning on a person that I'm going to evict on a property, and they've pushed it off again till November 5th. It was supposed to be September 20 something, then October something. They just keep pushing it off. Well, what's going to happen is this: um, everyone's gonna it's going to be flooded, and where normally people get to have, quote unquote, have their day in court. If you've got 10 times, 20 times the amount of people that you're trying to process and get through when the floodgates open, for you to capture somebody's attention and state your case, it's going to be more like a conveyor belt, and there's going to be little no sympathy. I mean, what are you going to say? Well, no. You've had 9 months to figure something out. You've had 9 months to make payments. So there's going to be a lot of foreclosures and
short sales.
And short sales, and it's going to be unfortunate, but states get their money though.
Always.
Delinquent property tax, state try and get around that. You're not. So they're going to get their money. It's going to be a onslaught.
So there are some interesting things that I'm thinking as we're talking, which is we're all going to tie back to your strategies, but it's also learning how to read your market. And people, when you talk about real estate, we talk about what makes a market a good market. We look at comps, we look at economic opportunity, what's moving into an area, what businesses are leaving, who the local politicians are, how that's all going on. So there's a lot at play right now. But because we are also in an election year where we have a global pandemic changing everything, you need to understand so much about the laws that are coming through. Your market knowledge also has to be relevant to what's going on in the macroeconomic scale. So what Jason's just saying about the states are always going to get the money, yeah, they've got to pay the police, the fire and rescue. They've got to make sure the roads are taken care of, that the schools stay open, even if they're virtual. There's a lot that they've got to maintain. So they are going to expect you to pay their taxes. Notice that nothing about what's gone on with the CARES Act has changed anything about your taxes. So that's why one of the strategies that he's focusing on that is so lucrative is tax liens. And one of the saddest things that's going to come up is the people who are going to be biggest to foreclose on are actually amateur investors, people who bought their properties the wrong way and they're holding it for too long and they don't know what's going on. Actually, Jason, we saw a lot of this in the beginning of the pandemic with Airbnb, didn't we?
So Airbnb over the last few years has become one of my favorite exit strategies on a property. So when we enter a city or we train an investor to run their blueprint in their city, our whole goal and our whole existence for these big companies to hire us is to get there first and bleed out through the entire city and have the opportunity in front of us. And we would let a lot of those good opportunities that we're beating everybody to fall into the Airbnb bucket. It's as you know, it's myself and my wife's second favorite exit strategy besides just wholesaling to end cash buyers. And but it's running neck and neck with those two techniques right now. And in fact, we're making 3 offers. I was looking over at my phone here. We're making 3 offers on properties today and try and get another Airbnb. But what happened was this: everybody was scared to travel. Right? You turn on the news and everybody's like, "Hey, the virus is airborne. You know, somebody's going to cough on you, and it's going to be like the movie Outbreak, and you're going to spit up blood and die." Right? So everybody's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out, which you should have a level of concern. So everybody started canceling. My wife was like, I literally had to tether myself to her because I was worried that she was going to do something to herself. She was freaking out. We're getting all these cancellations. But here's the thing. That happened. And we probably lost between our properties, I don't know, 10 grand in revenue. And here's the funny thing. Fast forward, after everybody got through that initial 3 to 4 weeks of gloom and doom that the news was spoon feeding everybody, all of a sudden people's that 10 grand went down to 9, 8, 7. I think by and large today at this point we're only down net 1,000 revenue. But here's the funny thing: Airbnb versus regular renting on those particular properties, we are still 2.7 times what normal rent would be in by and large globally across all those properties. And so the funny thing is that we're still we're way above market for market rent, right? We only end up net losing $1,000 because of the pandemic stuff. And here's the ironic piece to it. Would you rather now, if you travel, would you rather go to a hotel and hit the same buttons that 50 other people hit in the elevator? Or would you rather stay at your own self-contained unit in an Airbnb? Probably an Airbnb. So we've had an uptick. Like she just had $4,600 in bookings yesterday in Airbnbs.
That's fantastic. And actually, one thing that we were surprised to learn, Robert Haggerty, who's also an assassin, a marketing assassin, he found his Airbnbs going up in value. What was happening, and Stephanie will attest to this. Where they were finding a lot of people coming from New York and relocating down further south out of the city, so they're away from people, and they were booking Airbnbs for longer term stays. Did you find that to be the case for you, Jason?
Yeah. So what happened is we had somebody book. I think it was like a week, and it was like 2,500 revenue, and and they um and they contacted Jess directly and said, "Hey, I don't know what you have on the books, but can we stay an extra 2 weeks?" So all of a sudden, we have all this revenue coming in, and and people are like, "Hey, you know what? We were going to do this, we're more than happy to. We'd rather stay at an Airbnb." So it's kind of worked out to our favor. We've seen an uptick over last year in our bookings. So yeah, it's been great.
It's been very interesting to find. So Stephanie, are you here? Are you available?
Yes.
So tell us about your experience. So Stephanie is based in New York, and she has been surviving through COVID up in a really a like 10 by 10 cell that is known as her apartment. And she got away for how long did you leave to go to? Were you in Philly? Was that where you went?
No, we went to well we went to two Airbnbs. Like we had first, so we went to Pennsylvania, but we went to like right by Harrisburg. So a little further, more central west. The PA. We were there for 2 weeks in one house, and we had informed the owner that we were considering if we were able, because my boyfriend's parents, his mom wasn't sure if was able to um, uh, do her do one of the weeks of her after coming back from vacation to be able to work remotely, like confirming it, because she works in a school, so there were still talks of like, do they have, because she's an administrator, so it was like wasn't sure if she'd have to go in at all to like at least prep something. And we informed them, we told him like within 4 days of us being in the Airbnb, we wanted to extend another week and like 2 days. It's like, oh no, we already booked someone after you. So we found another Airbnb and we went even further west into Pennsylvania. So we were out for just over 3 weeks. Um, and I mean, for me, for us, me and my boyfriend was definitely a relief. And I'm sure my boyfriend's parents and family as well. Because I mean, my boyfriend and I, we're in like just under 800 square feet apartment with one of the rooms not available to us because we have a roommate. So that's basically like 600 square feet available to us or something. And it's two people taking up that space. So it's not even.
I'm so sorry.
So then going from that to like like a 2,500 square foot house.
Yeah. And actually, Stephanie, why I wanted to mention that is because, and I'm going to have Jason weigh in on this too. I believe, and you will hear me preach all the time, people over profits, right? People over profits always. And what this Airbnb strategy started off for, I'm sure who she stayed with, was a way of making money and revenue for the investor. But what it turned out to be was honestly a safe haven for people that were going through a trauma. And that's something I really think is so rewarding when you do real estate that does something better than just being a house that makes money. When it actually becomes something that becomes a sanctuary, a safe haven, some place with warmth and meaning. That's what matters. And I really think that's something that Airbnb is now able to offer that, again, like Jason says, you don't get at hotels. Now, I just went out of town for 2 weeks. And I will tell you, it's very awkward. It's stressful to travel. And then you go to the hotel, the energy is completely different. When you're in a very empty hotel, it feels very eerie. I would have much rather have been in a cute little cottage that's decorated nothing but pineapples with fun little towels and like my own silverware that I know that I washed. You know, it's a much better idea. So Jason, did you have to do anything different during COVID for your Airbnb? I mean, I'm sure you had to clean more, but what else did you have to do?
We just had to reassure everybody that we clean, like we say, hey, we use the best of the best cleaning and sanitation products. That was a consistent theme, is that we just reinforced to them that, hey, you're moving into a safe, clean environment, right? And there really wasn't anything beyond that. I would say that you had to do 2 to 3 to 4 times the reassurances. So that's what a lot of the conversations back and forth that Jess is having before she accepts a booking, right? And before they want to book our particular property, right? It's the conversation back and forth, but it was all about, hey, is it going to be a safe, clean environment? That was 90% of the conversations during that time. And it's funny that we're talking about this, you know, as you know, Jacob, like I like working like, and my brother just posted it on Facebook today, which is kind of funny. It says, hey, my friends asked me about camping this weekend. He goes, so my to-do item list changed. It says, number 1, find new friends, because he doesn't like to camp, right? So I bought an RV, and I've never really camped in my life either. I want to travel the U.S., and I freaking love it. I work from here. It's a self-contained unit. No one can bother me, right? Here's what I found during COVID. When I was traveling and, you know, friends and family knew I was going to a different city doing this, they're like, hey, would you rent out your RV? Could we stay there? We don't want to stay at a hotel. So that's why as we're talking about this topic, I mean, I love the Airbnb model, and there's even websites out there that'll help you. Literally, you can just throw your RV on there, and they rent that out for $250, $300 a night. It's great.
One of my favorite little unknown investment tricks. It really is. I'm so glad you talked about that, because RVs technically fall under the asset class of mobile homes. Why? Well, because they move. I mean, they're on wheels, right? But can you do anything in a mobile home that you can do in a single family? Absolutely. And the cost per entry is much lower. Now, clearly, I don't know if you know this about Jason or if you can pick it up at all, but he might have some expensive taste, because that mahogany shelving behind him doesn't necessarily come from IKEA. So he has a nicer camper, RV. Jason, how much would you rent that RV out for right now?
This one here, I'd rent it out for $400 a night.
Ooh, and how many nights is the minimum?
If we rent it out, I've declined most of them, but if we do rent it out to the right person, I would set a three night minimum. If you guys are looking, if anybody listens to this and you're looking to get into the Airbnb space, which we talk about that during the blueprint, like we have a blueprint this weekend where people are coming in from all over or joining us live stream, and we're going to talk about it. But one of the things that my wife would teach you, and she's a ninja, is this: you shall not, you cannot, you won't rent an Airbnb to somebody for a one-night stay. That's just a party, folks. That's a bad move. It's a party. No matter how good their profile looks, no matter what they say, what they do, you do not accept one-night bookings. So I would set a 2-night minimum for sure. All you're doing is causing yourself headaches, and somebody's going to have a party and break stuff.
Especially now, because every time someone checks out, you got to go and bring your cleaning crew in. They got to do all that extra sanitation. So all the profit margin you had is now taken up by Lysol and rubber gloves, which they could have multiple uses, but we're not going to worry about that. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Jason's wife is hot, like smoke show. And I am clearly a homosexual. And I go, hey, honey, how you doing? She's beautiful. Where is she, by the way? Why haven't I seen her?
Tell her she actually is over at one of our Airbnbs. I keep pointing like you guys know where she's at, over here in St. Pete Beach. She just left one of our Airbnbs, and literally as you were talking, I was peeking over at my phone, and our realtor is is hitting us back and forth on some properties that we're going to probably make an offer on. But yes, I'm a little biased, but yes, I think she's gorgeous. Yeah,
She is. There's no you thinking. I mean, I'm glad you think so. It's more important that she thinks you're handsome because that's kind of on the line. But no, she's like.
trust me, when she met me here, I'm certainly the ugly one of the bunch, and I asked her if she had cataracts. I'm like, are you sure?
I make no comment because I'm really trying to stay somewhat professional, but I only have about 30 more seconds of that left in me. So let me hold that filter back.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah, I'm proud of you right now.
Thank you, because he's the worst. He'll just throw it right back at me, and I don't stop, ever. So Jason, so going back to the example, because I want to show people some of the brilliance of the strategies that you teach. So if you had a 3-night minimum for that one camper, right? So that'd be the equivalent of like $1,200, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that camper, how much is the monthly? How much does that camper cost you per month?
I would tell you somewhere in the ballpark of $400.
$400. So that means one of your stays covers 3 months of your overhead for that camper.
Yeah.
So if you wait a minute, so if you literally had 4 stays in a month, that would take care of the entire payment for a year, including hookup and electric and blah blah blah.
Yeah, because once they rent it from you, they go do whatever they want, right? They don't have to hook up to electric. They can use the generator. Like right now, I'm talking to you guys and gals here, and I have the generator on.
So when you have that, so again, the part of the brilliance of Airbnb, because they also have all these different, you can add on like different vacation packages and things that go along with that. You have your affiliates, and if anybody knows how to affiliate, it's definitely you and your team. When you are looking at this, how much would a camper like you that you're in right now, how much would a camper like that cost?
This one here, somewhere in the ballpark of 100 to 130, 140 grand.
So this asset, which is roughly the same amount as you would have for a single family home, is can bring in enough to cover its entire yearly annual expenses over the course of 4 3-night bookings, 12 nights out of the year.
Yeah, 10, 12 nights out of the year, and the whole thing's paid for. It's free. Go travel the United States for free. That's the whole thing here, folks. It's about doing things right, leveraging, and just looking at things through a different lens. And like, it's a learned trait, right? You do that. You learn this stuff over years and years of getting good at different techniques, and that's just the way it is.
That is so sexy. Well, I'll let that be what it is. So something else that I love that you just said a minute ago was what you were talking about, wholesaling. Now, a lot of people, when they first start getting into real estate, they say that they're wholesalers. First and foremost, Jason will agree with me. Stop saying that nonsense. You're not a wholesaler. That's like a general contractor saying he's a hammer, right? You're a real estate investor, and wholesaling happens to be one of your tools. Now, what Jason has done, now this is the brilliant part about systems, guys, and this is what Jason's mastered. When I went to his 2-day blueprint, he showed us how you take something like wholesaling, which is an earned income strategy. That means you've got to show up, negotiate the contract, walk it through closing, collect your money. If you didn't do the work, you don't get paid. So that's earned income, right? If you have to sweat, is called earned income. Now, what Jason has done is he's moved his knowledge beyond wholesaling and created a system. Now it's a business which for him produces passive income. Jason, you still said this many years later, now, because when he started real estate, he wasn't gray. But now that he's an old man, he's got all of this knowledge and experience behind him. He created a system. You do 20 houses a month for one client each. Tell me more. How did you make this a system, and how do you really capitalize on it?
So when we do a blueprint, like we have people, like I said, I'm getting text messages. Some people are flying into town early. Again, you can do it with us live stream or in person, whatever. Jacob, you did it in person. So what we do is we show you, hey, here's all the different sandboxes that you can play in a city. You can play in the pre-foreclosure sandbox, the vacant home sandbox, the code violations with the county, citing properties for different things that are wrong. And but there's way more opportunity than that. So what we do is we show people 30 different ways that we get to off-market properties and homeowners that need help and we show you how to do it with the least amount of motion. We show you how to do it with the least amount of money spent. So as an example, we had 7 Home Investors franchises, the We Buy Ugly Houses franchises, right? People buy into their franchise. They spend 50 grand. And then after that, they're a part of that city's marketing budget, whatever city they're in. If there's 3 people in that city and Home Investors is spending 50 grand a month, then they're all spending roughly $17,000 in their marketing budget a month, which is a big number. So we had 7 Home Investors franchises come to us last year, and they all said the same thing. They all said, get me out of my freaking marketing budget. So what we did is we came in, we did a blueprint, we showed them exactly how we do this without a budget. So what they're spending 20 to anywhere from 15 to 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month on to get their 4 or 5 deals, we show them how to do it for 1,000 to 1,500. And I didn't wake up one day just knowing how to use all these techniques or how to do free direct mail. It took me 11 years to crack that code, right? So now when we do a blueprint, we show you all the different techniques that we do. 18 to the 30 techniques are free. It costs you no money. It's just literally following step by step in our map. And this isn't an exercise in taking notes. It's inside a map that lives on your computer. You have your coffee, you get the ball rolling each day, do what you're supposed to do, and results happen. Because when I'm doing it in 100 plus cities at any given time for these various larger clients, any day that you guys wake up, I'm testing these techniques on top of themselves. So I'm testing, hey, in these 4 markets, we're testing this variation this month. In these 4 markets, we've twisted this piece of marketing, this technique. And what happens is at the end of the month, we get all the answers. So what we do when we go through a blueprint, like, hey, I've tested 17 variations, this one wins. All the way down to, and I don't want anybody to lose sight of this. It's about doing it better. We're about doing things better here, right? So all the way down to, hey, I need you to do this, so Stephanie, Jeff, Bo, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, meaning this. Don't do it this way. Everybody else does it 2 times, 4 times, 5 times. I only need you to do this 3 times, and I need you to space them out 2 weeks, and here's the reason why, right? So it isn't even just about having a superior approach or technique. It's about what are the motions that we take to do it, right? And once you're a blueprint client, as you know, Jacob, once you're a blueprint client, you're a blueprint client for life. So we've turned it into a real machine, all the way down to what order you do stuff in, how long it should take you. And then when you're done with
tell the text messages and say when to put them out there. So, and for those of you who are paying attention, so Jason, I'm going to give you some credit, even though I was really trying not to give you too much credit because I know how you are. But one of the things I loved, I actually took what my training was and I have applied it into what we're doing in our challenge, Real Estate Survivor, which guys, raise your hand if you're a part of Real Estate Survivor. There you go. And there's also Pamela James. Most of them don't have their pictures on. Hi, Brian. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. Anyway, so yeah, so we took your strategies or a couple of your strategies and we've implemented them one at a time. And it's funny, I took what you were doing with, and we're gonna be doing it this season in season 2, with what we do on social media, Facebook groups, and learned how to automate everything virtually during COVID. And how we went to go find mobile homes and how we literally copy and paste text messages and get things going and automate it, pass things off along the team. So Pamela and Bo were part of that initial beta test for that. I don't know if Pamela's available, but Bo is. Bo, when we created that system you had to follow, how did that make you feel? By the way, Bo had no idea about real estate until he started doing this. So he was freaking out because, you know, he's a little scaredy cat. He's just a little pudding pop over there. How did it make you feel to actually have a system to follow?
It was really cool, especially being with something like built up from the ground up and like seeing how the system was getting built and just the different like checkpoints that were like put in place. So like coming in on like that end of it was really cool because we were learning what we were learning in the first season. Plus I was doing this and I was like, understanding like both sides of it. So yeah. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Apparently if you have the chat box open, you can't hit the space bar and make it happen. But so it allowed, so what I learned from Jason has helped me build and scale my business. So I literally had to learn it. This is the thing, and I say this quote all the time, 80% is good enough. If I know how to do something 80% of the way, I can put it into play because the other 20% is going to figure itself out with the talent that I replace myself with. That's something that Jason teaches. Now, he doesn't say it quite so eloquently. He says, get a bitch where you are and you're fine, right? So, so it's something that is really, really powerful, right? So right now we are in a very freaking hot market. Everyone wants real estate. We didn't know what was going to happen after COVID. But, and especially usually during an election year, real estate slows down historically. This year it's like ramping up. And Pamela actually, and I have many talks about that. So with wholesaling and wholesaling with investors, you've got a lot of opportunity here. Jason, talk a little bit more about your wholesaling strategy and how you scale it and how quickly can a brand new investor with no experience learn how to wholesale and then automate it to where they can step away from the business? What would you say about that?
So wholesaling, like I said, is one exit strategy. The whole game is you don't ever get to wholesale a deal. You don't ever get to flip one. You don't ever get to buy it and cash flow it or Airbnb it unless you get there first, right? So we show you how to get there first, but specifically once you do, I always tell everybody, let the chips fall. Let the situation of the homeowner kind of dictate what type of deal you do. The reason
Wait a minute. You mean you don't have to know absolutely everything before you talk to the homeowner?
No, it's so silly. Like,
wait, they're a part of the transaction?
Yeah, exactly. People forget about that. It's like, hey, you may want to wholesale it, and everybody on that sees this video and on the screen right now might want to wholesale a property. We're all looking at it the same, but that doesn't mean that the seller is going to want to sell you the house at a price or a number or situation-wise that's going to work to make it a wholesale. Does that mean there's not money to be made? You got to look at it multiple different ways. But the reason wholesaling is fun is that you can write a contract and trade that contract for money to sell it to somebody else that wants to buy it, fix it, and flip it. People are like, they'll really pay more for it in this area. Why would they pay X amount of dollars? You don't care. They might be buying it for a family member to help take care of them. So wholesaling is perfect from that standpoint, right? So and it's funny that you're asking me about this one because this weekend we're rolling out a new technique. So this weekend,
tell me right now. I want to know all about it. Go, spill it.
Okay. So here's what we're doing. So we just tested it out last week. We did it again. Alyssa and I did it again the other day before I flew back down here to Florida for the blueprint. And we have tools. They're free, by the way. We have tools that we went to gosection8.com and for rent, and we pulled up the areas that we want. So I'll just use Bo again, Miami. So if I was Bo and I was down in Miami, we go to those websites and literally we have a bot go in and scrape all the people that have a property for sale, and we either turn them into a cash buyer. Hey, you looking for more properties? Remember, so it took us 60 seconds on each website, and we had over 100 opportunities. Or if they say, hey, no, I'm not looking for more properties, think about this. So if they say they're looking for more properties, I now have a cash buyer. Who pays the most money when you're selling a contract to somebody else? A landlord, right? Because they're going to hold it and do appreciation over time, depreciation. So that's one. Two, if they say no, I don't want more properties. Think about this. The only reason I have their phone number is because we scraped that website in 60 seconds and grabbed all their phone numbers. They have a property out there that's vacant. That's a problem for them right now. And they say they don't want more properties. Maybe they're frustrated. So then we just say, hey, well, we're always looking to buy properties as well. I know you have a property here that you're trying to rent out that's vacant. Is that something that you'd be interested in receiving an offer on? So the strategy that we've been testing out that we just did over the last week, it's free, takes to 60 seconds. You don't have to hire people to do it. And we just cultivated a list on the one that I just did before I got on the plane of 100 people. And literally we made some videos. I started calling them live. I listened to his video while I was calling them. And we had two people that wanted more property. There's cash buyers that we just built in 60 seconds. And then we also have one of them that said, yeah, you know what, if you want to make me an offer on my property. So we potentially have a deal. And that took us 120 seconds to grab all those phone numbers. That's why I always laugh and tell everybody, investing doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be done on purpose. Somebody needs like literally it's a new spot that I built out the blueprint map.
It just has to have intention, and you have to see the intention through. Like you can't just dabble. You got to actually commit to it and see it through. Yes. Sorry, continue.
Oh no, it's literally right now in the background. on my screen. I'm literally building out a new section of the map.
So when he's talking about building on different sections of his map, what I want you to understand, every system, every marketing system that Jason is building, so I'm going to use my hand as an example. That sounded weird, but okay, so this is his business, right? This is the palm, okay? If he just did wholesaling, that would be one stream of income, right? That's one stream of income. But what he's done is he's used his marketing to create multiple streams of income. So every marketing campaign he creates is another stream of income that feeds his business. So everything he's doing is done with intention. Whatever the exit strategy is, doesn't matter until he gets the property attracted to his business. So you could say, hey, I'm an Airbnb host or I'm a wholesaler. Who cares? Your business is what you're trying to build, and building out those income streams is what matters. What Jason is really good at is negotiating. In his program, he talks about the seller waltz. Now, me being a professional dancer, I happen to be exquisite at the waltz. Meanwhile, Jason has 2 left feet, but he's a better negotiator. I'll admit it. It's fine. Jason, tell us about your seller waltz.
So again, like this weekend, the people coming in or joining this live stream when we do their build out for them on day 2, part of what we do, it's silly for me to give you the keys to the castle to get to everything first in your city and suffocate it and get to all the good off market leads. If when now all of a sudden you have all these homeowners raising their hand, you don't know how to negotiate with them. So on day 2, I've trained 42 acquisitions teams around the nation that are in charge of building portfolios. So I train them on exactly how we want them to take appointments. And over a elongated period of time, we just tracked all the results all the way down to what order we say things in. So on day 2 of the blueprint this weekend that we're doing, we're going to teach everybody 10 different ways to turn a difference in price with the seller. So 10 different ways that we turn a difference in price into a contract. And we have different techniques that we'll teach you. So different ways that we structure deals and partnering with the homeowner, owner financing, all these other, doing stuff in a trust, all these different ways and techniques to turn their no into a contract. So we teach that in the seller waltz. Since I started doing this for individuals instead of just doing it for at the hedge fund level. So we've been doing it a little over 4 years now. And every single time I do a blueprint, just like this weekend coming up, for example, I'll pick on one person in the room and I'll tell them, you want $100,000 for the house. It needs a little bit of work. Do not sell to me. Every single blueprint that we've done, that person that I just arbitrarily choose out of the audience, within about a 2 to 3 minute time frame, I've painted them into a corner and broke them down to where, and I even tell them, I go, here's how you win this game. Just as soon as we say go, just go, no, 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 and you win. And every single time, because of the way we waltz them, as you said, Jacob, the way we waltz them and show them all these different options, we give them different ways to work with us that's almost impossible to say no to. We get them to start saying yes, and then as you saw at the blueprint you were at, I can't remember who I picked on, but
it was
they
me.
ended up saying yes.
Was it you? Picked on me, yes. We had a great banter back and forth. You want to do it again? I'm versatile. Let's do it.
Yeah, he held strong for a while, folks.
I do. I can keep up. So actually, I would love for you to do it with Stephanie. Stephanie is also, so I know she's going to hate me right now. I love you, Stephanie. So Stephanie, I'm doing that. She's going to kill me later.
I literally went to bed at 5:30 in the morning. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. Like I cannot even function.
That was such a little bitch thing to say.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Aquí estoy jugando mi Madagascar. Pero ustedes qué van a saber, concha tu madre? ¿Ah? ¿Qué van a saber, pues? ¿Ah? ¡Ga!
Okay.
Awesome.
We got hacked again. Well, somewhat hacked again.
Dude, that's amazing. I want that to happen every 60 seconds. That's freaking awesome.
At least it wasn't porn this time. So why don't we do this? That's Pamela. So Pamela is a real estate professional down here in Florida. I heart this woman. She's amazing. She's also a hard ass. I would love to watch this. Oh my God, let's be fun. Everybody get your popcorn. Pamela, darling, are you ready to waltz?
I'm ready to waltz.
Let's
I know
waltz
how. Go ahead.
Okay, Pamela, so let's lay the foundation here and I'll just do a mini waltz for you. So Pamela, you have a house, it needs a little bit of work and you're trying to get $100,000 for it. And I'm just coming as an investor to see see the house and just talk to you about different ways that we can work together. Is that fair?
Okay, come over.
Okay, so everybody that sees this and everybody here, what we do is we just establish, I like to blame it on my boss. I would tell Pamela, I'm like, hey, look, I'm in charge of getting photos of the house. I've got one more house to see. And then I'm going to be sitting with my boss and I'll tell my boss what we talked about and give me about a half an hour and we'll see if we can come to an agreement. We typically pay cash, Pamela, but there's other ways that we can work with you. And I'll throw those out to you. They may be of interest to you. If they're not, that's no big deal. I'll tell my boss it doesn't make a difference to me. So then what we do is we walk through the house. We get to know, we ask Pamela questions. We're just getting to know her. After we're done, I'll ask her about the area. And after we're done taking photos, she's telling us a little bit about the house. Then I'll sit down and say, hey, Pamela, so look, I'm gonna go through different ways that we can work together, Pamela. You just tell me, and I want to start by saying I appreciate the fact that you're not using a realtor to save money, Pamela. So even if we don't come to an agreement, which I think we can, if we do not, if you'd like, I'll help you market it for free. So I'll help you market the property for free to help you get what you want to 30 different real estate channels. We do it for homeowners. We don't just buy houses because we can buy any house. We try and help everybody. So even if we don't, we'll help you. Fair enough?
I really don't want to deal with buyers, but okay, fine.
Okay, sounds good. And so I'll start with cash. So we typically pay cash, but there's other ways that we can work with you that I'll talk about. If we pay cash and close on a day, Pamela, that you wanted to close on, and that works for you, and we'll build the contract that way. How low could you go if it's cash? No more taxes, no more insurance, no more. You don't have to lift a finger. We'll help you move all your items. What would that be if it was cash?
375.
375.
375,000. Yeah.
Okay, remember you're trying to get 100 for it in our scenario.
Oh, well, I thought you said get 100 out of it. You see, I'm calculating getting 100 out. I want to get 100 out of. Oh God.
We're in a luxury market. We're like
that's not even luxury. 370.
Yeah, that's like half of a deed for a parking garage where we are.
So if it's 100 and the house needs work, what?
100. Yeah.
Cash. How much?
I was looking to get 100 for it. Yeah, my neighbor across the street did it for 125. So.
Okay, sounds good. So just so that I make sure that I don't waste your time, when I sit down with my boss, if he says, "Hey, let's go ahead and be a solution for Pamela," and he says, "Let's do 96.5 cash, close on the date that you want," are you saying that we can't do business together?
No, 100. We need 100.
Okay, sounds good. I'll tell my boss. I know. Now here's where I go into technique. So I know for the work that's involved on this one, I saw the pictures of the other one that you're speaking of that was fixed up retail. I'm assuming I wouldn't be here if you had the money to fix it up. And we're fine with all the fix. But I think, my boss is probably on a cash contract going to be closer to 75. I'm not sure. It's not my job. Now, there's other things that we could do to work with you. As I said before, if you're interested, great. If you're not, I'll tell my boss, no big deal. I'm certain that we may be able to do the 100 if you were open to being the bank and you could owner finance it to us. I'm quite certain that we could come to an agreement on 100 grand. I would simply just need to talk to my boss. Is that something that you'd be open to if I could get you all the money you were looking for?
Well, let's see. At that rate, because of what I have to pay, my back taxes, my back property taxes and whatnot that are owed on the house, it really would depend on the interest rate, and what kind of cash flow I'm going to get. How much money I'm going to get a month from you.
Okay, sounds good. And if we could solve the tax piece, you'd be open to that?
Well, the taxes are just one thing that I have to pay. So I'm calculating in my head, I have to use the cash I get from the 75 to pay off my taxes.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll tell my boss if we can make the numbers work, it might be something that you'd be open to. The second thing that we could do, which we do with homeowners from time to time, if you're interested, is that I wouldn't be here if you had the money to fix it up, I'm assuming. So if you're interested, we could partner on it, meaning this. I'll come in with the roughly 50 grand, me and my boss, and we'll come in with the roughly 50 grand that I think it might take to fix this house. we'll agree to give you the first 100 grand when it sells, and then we'll put it on the market and try and sell it for 200, which is what I think maybe when we're done fixing it up, you could sell it for. And my boss may even give you 20% of that extra 50 grand spread. So I know you were trying to get 100, but if we could do it in a manner to where you'd end up with 110, is that something that you might be interested in, which is more than what you were asking for to start out with?
Well, I mean, that really does sound interesting, but I guess the way I look at it is, where am I going to live during the time that you're fixing it up? And what if you don't get the number you're looking for?
Well, you get the first 100 right out of the gate, exactly what you were looking for. And the reason that we would do that is this: instead of us coming up with 70, 80, 90, 100 grand plus 50 to fix it, if we just come in with the 50 to fix it, which we do a lot of this, then that saves us from having to go get a bigger loan. And we're more than happy to potentially give you more money up front and part of the profit on the back end. So if it's something that you're open to, then we can.
So let's just be clear. I'm retaining ownership of the house while you're fixing it up.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have to obviously keep up my homeowner's insurance, because if something happens, the house burns down, God forbid, with whoever fixes it up.
Yeah, and we could get a supplemental insurance policy as well, where this isn't our first rodeo. We're new to this, and we want to make sure that you're protected. But working in concert together, we could get you more money, and we're happy to share with some of the profitability on a retail house, because we don't have to buy it and fix it. So if that's something you'd be open to, then we would love to work with you.
Well, how much again were you willing to give me up front?
We'll pay your back taxes, right? Because we don't want you to lose the house.
Well,
so we do
okay,
that.
but I'd have to move to a rental, right? I need first, last, and secure. No, I can stay in the house while you're renovating it.
Yeah, we can do a renovation in stages. Yes, you don't have to relocate. We're not looking to have you relocate and find your new favorite coffee shop. No, not at all.
It's a possibility. That's a possibility.
I'm cracking her, folks. And then lastly, I'm
just figuring out how to make the most money out of this. Go ahead.
I know, so are we. So it's perfect. We're working in concert together. So then lastly, if you're willing to give us time to buy it, we'll absolutely pay your back taxes, give you a chunk of money down, and start paying you monthly payments, which is, if you're not familiar with it, which is a lease option.
All right.
And so Pamela, what do you think?
And you're going to buy it from me at what price and when in the future?
We'll agree to 100. If you give us time to buy it, we'll agree to 100 right now and give you a down payment.
But I understand that. But when would you close on the house? When would I actually see the money?
Whatever, it depends on how much you want us to put down, but either a 3, 4, or 5 year window.
Oh, yeah, but we all know that real estate's going up. So, I mean, this house not being done could be worth more in 3 years. So, yeah, I don't want to sit with it for that long.
Okay, that's fine. And so I'll tell my boss what you said. You're open to potential owner financing if the terms are right. You're definitely more receptive to maybe doing a partnership on it and get more money. And like I said, if we don't come to an agreement, it's no big deal. We try and help people. So I'll help you market it for free to 30 different channels to try and get you what you want. And because we try and help every homeowner we talk to. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you calling and coming to see the place.
Okay, now, folks, several things. After we go back and forth on cash, whether I really want 100 out of it, or they go down to 90, whatever number they say, I always say, well, if I go back to my boss and I'll go 3 or 4 grand lower than what they say. And they say, and my boss says, let's go ahead and do it at 96.5. Are you saying that we can't work together? 99% of the time, homeowners, they don't want to say, no, we can't work together. So you say, okay, I just didn't want to waste your time. So now I'm ratcheting them down. Now, after the cash offer, I said owner finance, and I said, we can partner and fix this. Or we can do a lease option. Anytime a homeowner after the cash offer says no to anything after the cash offer, what they're telling you is that they really do want out. They are more motivated because they don't want to go on a ride with you. They don't want to go on an owner financing ride. They don't want to go on a fix it and then sell it ride. They don't want to go on a lease option ride. So that's designed on purpose to find out if they say no to all those other things, then I need to anchor back in on the cash contract because they do want to get out of it now without even knowing that they're telling you that. Now, when she said she was open to doing owner financing, we're going to negotiate good terms. I can always pay more if I don't have to go get a loan. It'll never show up on my credit report. Then I can structure the deal in the back, and I can fix it and sell it. I can do whatever I want. She started to become really receptive, which thank you for playing, really receptive to, oh, wow, you could partner on it? I'm like, yeah. And here's why this is a strategy that most investors don't do. We do it all the time, and it blows my freaking mind why you don't do it. Mm-hmm. If I don't have to spend 100 and put another 50,000 on top of it to try and make 50, which is roughly 30-something% return, if I can put in 50 just to fix it to try and make 50 and give Pamela part of that 50, 10 grand, like I had mentioned, that's 50 grand to make 40 grand. That's an 80% return on my money.
Without the headache of actually having to close on the property by getting a mortgage and going financing, all that stuff with it.
I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see more of that because there's an there's an HGTV show where they're doing it. So as soon as it hits nationalized television, you can guarantee they're all going to hop on the bandwagon.
And that's going to be that's a very good thing to say and to notice as well. So when I actually get my YouTube channel up that I wanted to do called Flipping Fabulous with Jacob Jennings, that's actually one thing we're going to be doing on that little show, but it's great that's getting national attention. What I want you guys to notice here in the room is that Mr. Palliser here decided he just offered seller financing, but he never ever said the words. That's good marketing. Because every time someone hears those terms, they go, what, you can't afford the house? No, Jason just described a way to give Pamela what she wanted in ways that he could offer it. It's just a way of partnering with the seller to get the transaction closed. And that's the biggest difference. If I could get more and more real estate agents and brokers to understand that, they would triple their sales volume. And they would be planting the seeds down the road. Pamela, Stephanie, you two are licensed real estate professionals here, brokers in Florida and New York. If you had a property that had someone like Jason come in there, so the property, for example, that he was doing with Pam, and yes, Pamela said that the property would be worth more in 3 years, potentially, correct? Well, if Pamela was the broker in that situation, and she helped the transaction here with Jason, who would get a percentage of the option money? The broker. So the broker's paid once. Then when it's sold or rented, when it's rented the next time, commission there. And then when it's sold in 3 years, guess who already had that contract set from the very beginning? Pamela again, where it would be sold at a higher price due to the fact that it's fixed up and it has appreciated. So now, as a real estate broker, I'm gonna go to church for a second here. I'm just gonna go for this. If you are a real estate broker and you are just going, I want one transaction with this house, you are a damn idiot, all right? What I just did with this transaction is I planted a seed that 3 years from now, I know I'm getting a commission on something. 3 years. You want to have a retirement plan? Start planning your business past looking from just one commission and start treating this like an actual asset class that builds wealth. Hallelujah. Okay. Hi, Matt Maggio. How are you doing? Yeah, that was well said. I loved it. It was so melodious.
Nailed it, man. Loved it. I love the hat. I love the necklace. You know, you're killing it, Jacob.
Thank you. I do love a good collar.
Nice to see you too, Mr. Palliser. Always, and we got Jesus on the line too. We're seeing Jesus at a few big stage events. Good to see everybody.
Well, we're so glad to see you too, Mr. Maggio. So for those of you who don't know, Matt used to be my boss. In fact, he was the first person to ever give me a corporate job. And to be fair, I didn't get fired.
He should have. He should have multiple times. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, between me and Jacob, you had to rewrite every HR policy that you guys had.
These were the headaches right here.
I'm not the only one, huh?
Dude.
It's actually funny. The HR department actually, when she saw me and Jason, she would just turn around and walk away. She's like, I don't see it. I don't know, but it's fine.
Oh, I just saw Haggerty, the blueprint of Seth. What's up, buddy?
There he is. So by the way, for those of you who don't know, you're joining. We have Mr. Matt Maggio, who is a wealth of knowledge as well. He's doing incredible things right now, which I'll have to talk about in a second. We have Jesus, my friend. Oh, how are you? How's everybody?
Good.
Bueno. Good. Lovely. So Jesus is also a kick. I love this story. Actually, Jesus, I've got to have you on the show. I need to interview. I need people to know who you are. So we'll talk about that in a second. And then another marketing assassin, Mr. Rob Haggerty, my dear friend. I'm so glad you got that squirrel shave off your face. You look so handsome now. You're welcome. I just want to tell you, listen, I know that the Hulk Hogan can pull out that bicycle blonde gross thing on his face. It doesn't mean it works for everybody. You are too cute for this. Anyway, so I'm glad to see you guys back on the show. So tell us, so Jason, you have your 2-day blueprint coming up this weekend, correct?
Yeah. So we have blueprint coming up this weekend. And we got people coming from all over. We're also doing live stream. And we're basically just going to go through all the different techniques. Like I said, we're rolling out a new one this weekend, which is going to be freaking amazing. And we've already tested it out a few times. It's working really well. We already got potential deals out of it. And it's within 60 seconds built up cash buyers list with 100 opportunities. So we're going to be rolling out that technique this weekend. It's going to be great. But we're going to teach negotiations, build out their systems, have it all built in the mind map so you don't have to remember anything, and then walk you through what a perfect execution day looks like step by step inside the map, which you already know because you have it, and torch the marketplace. So that's what we're doing this weekend.
And it really is incredibly effective. If you aren't building your systems, you don't have a business, right? So Rob, can you actually speak where you are, or do you have no actual service? Why am I hearing myself echoing all of that?
Jesus isn't muted. Oh, now
I see. Do we have, but Rob Haggerty, can you say anything? Are you able to talk? No, yes, purple, green, blue, thumbs up, thumbs down. Unmute yourself, sweetheart. No? Okay. Well, I wanted you to speak about what your experience was with 2-day blueprint, because it is really very powerful. So has anybody here been to 2-day blueprint besides myself? Jose is going to be popping on a second, or Javier, to talk about his experience, but he's not here just yet. Anyway, but you will learn multiple different ways, some that cost absolutely nothing, to different strategies that are just different hacking systems to hack your marketing in your business. We've only implemented, count them, 4 here at Investor Party out of all that I've learned. 4. Do you think there's more to go? So it is incredible what you can do with just a little bit of knowledge, but it's more important what you can do with the right team. Now that when I start doing stuff with 2-day blueprint, when I need money, Jason, have I not called you about doing flips together and transactional funding?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and we do that stuff all the time. When you have a good community, you can make things happen. So Robert, can you hear me now?
I can, yeah, I pulled over.
Awesome. Tell us, so you've been to 2-day blueprint like 3 times, right?
I'm a 2-peat right now.
A 2-peat.
Twice. And it's a training that's definitely, I'd go a 3rd time again.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps getting better and better for sure. I still only implement a small percentage of what Jason teaches, and it works. It's crazy. It's one of the better trainings I've had.
Mm-hmm. And it's always evolving.
It is, yeah. And the Facebook group, the behind the scenes stuff, they're always throwing out more tips and tricks, and it's sweet. And yeah, Jason's super easy to get a hold of too, like which I love that too.
So
it reminds me corporate veil.
No.
Let's talk about this. So Rob, now you were nominated for Hall of Fame, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. You also worked with us as well at Elite. Before you went to Palliser, because I remember when you went the first time, because we were talking about it. Before you went to 2-day blueprint, how many properties had you acquired?
Prior to blueprint, I think I was at 2 or 3 maybe.
And that was over how long of a period of time?
A year and a half.
Okay, 2 to 3 over a year and a half. So then you went to 2-day blueprint the first time. How did that accelerate your business?
Man, I came out, I think I had locked up 3 deals in the matter of like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. So we did it in a year and a half and did it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and now, I'm up to 10, going on 12 properties. Just got 2 contracts out, and yeah, it's pretty legit.
Well, and that's 10 to 12 properties over how long of a period now?
I'm now at 4 years now.
But you acquired the 10 properties that you got right now in how much time?
I guess 3 years.
Oh, that is, so you're holding those?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. But you also wholesale a lot, correct?
I do, yes.
So how many deals
yeah.
do you typically, how many do you do a month roughly?
It varies. Like some months I'll do 2 or 3, and then I'll take a month or 2 off.
Bitch, I'm gonna smack you. Are you not listening to what Jason said? You make a team so you can take time off and go caravanning around the country with your hot wife, and you can actually make money while you're doing it. What are you, Jason Palliser? Will you smack him? Just beat him.
He likes to get smacked. He's just baiting me right now.
Oh, come
Jason
on.
does give the best.
Don't talk about enjoying beating in this crowd. We are absolutely fine with a little bit of masochism, right? That's right. You see them? Yeah, we got this. Smack me harder, mama. So like, so what I wanted to say is like, okay, so this is something I want to mention as well. Rob, how many people are working with you on a daily basis?
2 right now.
Got it. And now you've gone up to about 2 or 3 deals a month. Now, when you make a team, that also jumps your profitability, your efficiency, everything that goes with it, right? When you have a strong team, like we're developing, there is no limit. Jason Palliser, how many people are on your team now?
So we have 4 people on our team now, on mine and my wife's private team. And we're operating at 2, and we're closing 10 to 15 deals a month. And that's the whole thing is that it doesn't take a large army to close a lot of deals. It's just doing the right things on purpose. And like, in fact, like this weekend at this weekend's training, I signed agreements with them, and you could drive up and see, but I have a guru coming. So I have a guru coming this weekend to the Blueprint, and I signed confidentiality agreements because it would hurt their street cred that they're coming to us to do it. So it doesn't take an army to close a lot of deals, and we just need to show you all the right moves that you need to make on a daily basis that produce real results based upon having, like when I get hired, I average 30 homes a month. I have no choice. I have to average 30 homes a month. So we don't miss a single online deal, which we teach that inside the Blueprint. Easy, low-hanging fruit deals. We certainly don't miss any local neighborhood deals. We don't miss delinquent tax. We don't miss pre-foreclosures. We don't miss code violations. So we show you how to do this without any wasted motion whatsoever, and how to do it with 1/10 of the budget that most people are normally operating with. That's what's fun for us.
It's a blast. It's actually amazing because most of it is common sense just put into a system. Like literally this time of the day, you do this much before breakfast, this much between breakfast and lunch, this time after lunch between dinner, and this in the evening when everyone is sleeping. But it's not overwhelming because once you get it, you plug in, you put people there to help you. What I do think it takes in order to make a business truly successful is a team of intelligent women. And I really do believe that. This is why this company right here has grown so significantly, and you're all so much smarter than us. Thank you. I think it's mostly because our real brains are held outside of our body and yours are held inside. So you get twice the blood flow and you're much more creative. So thank you, ladies, for being real estate investors. Love that you are here. It's awesome. So it's this weekend.
Yeah, ours is, hey, Jacob. So ours is, as you know, it's run by Alyssa. So
yes.
Both of my wife's team is run by Alyssa. She's a go-getter. She's a monster.
She's a kick-ass lesbian, and I love her to death. She's always responsive. She's right on top of it. And let me tell you, she hates traveling. She's a homebody, right? She never leaves St. Louis, which, by the way, Jason, I do enjoy watching Superstore all the time. It's kind of a problem. And every time I watch it, I think of you guys. It is absolutely hysterical. I'm like, really? That's St. Louis? Huh? You got an arch and everybody thinks you're the big deal? Anyway, so, but so they can stream it at home. Can they go live?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to talk about price points are? I had put the chat here. I put it in here. So I didn't know it was this weekend, but we do have the link here. Is go the number 2dayblueprint.com. Go 2dayblueprint.com. That is the email or the website you guys can go to log in on. But do you want to tell about what it is? I'd like to be transparent. Go ahead and tell them how much it was.
Yeah. So what we do is we do this. We build out your operation. It's built on a mind map. You don't have to remember stuff and have 15 pages of notes. That's baby stuff, right? So we walk you through execution. You have the mind map when you're done. We also build out your lead flow and tracking systems on the framework of free software. So all your leads flow into a free software that keeps you organized on what to do, because we don't need you to devote brain space to what do I do next once the leads start pouring in, right? And then we have video training on each technique that you can watch 24 hours a day when we're done. And you're also in our private Facebook group, which Bob said earlier when he was talking. He goes, "Hey, they're private Facebook group. We get, and you're in there, so we get messages all the time like, dude, your private group where we can get real-time answers to all of our questions is worth the price of admission alone." So, and you see Bobby shaking his head yes here. Our blueprint's 10 grand. So it's $5,000 to schedule your date, $5,000 when we complete your blueprint build out, and it's permanent mentorship. And I know that other companies charge 15 grand. Oh, you need more help after that? Well, here's a mentorship for 12 to 15 grand. We don't do that. Once you're on our team, you're on our team permanently. So it's pretty straightforward. That's what we do. And I need to let everybody that hears this know something. These bigger companies, these institutional monies that we talked about, hedge fund, we charge them anywhere from 50 to 60 grand for the exact same blueprint. The difference between them and an individual investor is that they might have 10 people on their team that I'm training, and they have to average 25, 30, 40 homes a month. And they'll say, okay, you're going to do these 2 techniques, you're going to do these 2. And I also train an acquisitions team for them to do all the acquisitions. So that's where it's a little bit different, but it's the exact same blueprint that we charge them 40 or 50 grand for. Our average wholesale deal, when we do actually wholesale a particular lead that we get, if we don't keep it for fix and flip or Airbnb, is 23.8. So I always tell everybody, when we're done with you, we're going to show you how to do this without a budget. We're going to show you how to get to 3 to 5 to 7 closings a month if you're just getting started without needing a budget. And our average wholesale deal is 23.8. So a blueprint's less than half of one average wholesale deal that we do. It's like taking candy from a baby. And I always tell everybody, I'm no smarter than anybody else. But when you hand me millions in marketing budgets and I'm in charge and I get to collect all the data, I simply pay attention and I know what wins. And hence the reason I still have a voicemail on my phone from Robert, who's on here right now. He's like, hey, originally said, hey, what I couldn't do in a year and a half, you got your hands on me in 4 months. He left his old job as a fireman. And he's like, hey, I'm burnt out right now. I just want to be done. I want to focus on real estate. And we helped him do that in 4 months flat, what he couldn't do in a year and a half. You're not on an island by yourself, meaning when we're done with the blueprint, the people coming this weekend, now they're on our team. It'll be weird for them. They're like, they'll ask questions, and I'll get text message, hey, I know I hit you with 4 or 5 questions. Robert's on here right now. He'll tell you, I've probably answered no less than 50 questions for him since his blueprints. When we say that you're on our team permanently, you're on our team permanently, period. End of story. All you got to do is put it in the Facebook group, email us, text message us, call us, and we'll help you structure deals, close deals, partner on deals with you. It doesn't matter.
It's nice to know the people in your corner. That's what we do. That's what we are building here in this community. Having mentors and experts like Jason has been very valuable. I really enjoy having him on because I do think he describes seller financing. You're one of the top 3 in my book that know how to get it done, do it very naturally without it sounding like you're over talking to the seller. It's all about relationships. And the thing that I walked away from 2-Day Blueprint really understanding was that the money's in the follow through. You want to hear no. That's the thing I think everyone is so scared of. They don't do anything because they're scared of rejection, right? It's like they asked a girl to the 6th grade dance and they were told no, and suddenly they lose all confidence and they have no manhood ever. It's just silly. But rejection isn't a bad thing. No is a response. And there is an average of 12 no's to get to 1 yes. So if you go for no, there's an entire book that's called Go for No. If you actually go for the no, you're already ahead. And as you keep doing it, you're going to get better and better and better. but the follow through is what matters. So that's why Jason talks about building the system. So you put him in there, you put on autopilot, you let the system do its work, and eventually you have more chances of getting a yes. Jason, how many times do people typically reach out to a seller?
So I would tell you this. So you're absolutely right. Remember I said the seller waltz, we have 10 different ways to turn a no into a contract. If they tell us no, we're not mad, because we're going to end up probably marketing their property for free because we help people. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw it out there, and we're going to throw it out there at a higher number than what Pamela wanted at 100. I'll throw it out there at 105, just helping her for free. I'm not asking for any commission. And if I get 3 people interested, I just turned a house that I didn't even have under contract into a potential wholesale deal. So, but following up with people, I would tell you anywhere from 7 to 12 times. He or she who follows up best wins. We have every text message, every follow-up, every voicemail, all done inside the map. So all you do is get the lead sources, people start raising their hand, do your seller waltz, get a no like you thought you'd probably get, and then throw them into your machine and keep doing it over and over and over, and you're going to close deal after deal after deal. This is a numbers game, and when we suffocate a city 30 plus ways, this isn't a fair fight.
It's very true. It's like, wait, keep that comment to myself, stay professional. I can do this. So anyway, wonderful. Jason, if they want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can message me. You can shoot me a text message, 314-749-3737. I'll put it in the chat. And you can email me, jason@goseejason.com, if you want to get in touch with me.
Just tell him that you met him through Investor Party. That's all we need to know. That way he knows where you are and who you know, and he actually tends to take care of his people. So since you're part of our tribe, he actually likes you more than a stranger. So isn't that what you would do as a person? So just make sure you know they're from Investor.
And if you want more info, you can just go to the number 2dayblueprint.com. Just let me know that you met me through Jacob. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll if you're looking to do a blueprint, we'll also look to maybe get you a little bit of a discount. So just let us know that you saw our crazy asses on here.
And it's this weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, I have one this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then and you could do it virtually. I literally just had 2 people sign up this morning. And then our last one for the calendar year, we only do 9 or 10 of these a year. We do this at a high level. We don't train thousands of people. We train about 100 to 120 business owners a year. And our last one is December 5th and 6th. So you can join that.
There were like 8 of us when I went. And some of them you've had more, but it was a small intimate group when I went. They literally did like build out my Podio, which is how I knew about Podio. But for those of you who are a part of Deal Like This, for those of you who were part of Real Estate Survivor Season 1, if you remember Grayson Cupford, one of the chiefs, Jason trained Grayson.
Yeah, Grayson wasn't doing shit.
And now he's killing it. He has his own VA company there, which, by the way, we're creating as well. Actually, I do have one question for you, Jason. At what point should someone look at getting a virtual assistant?
ASAP.
Well, that's cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, ASAP. You should do it right away. All they do is produce leverage for you. You tell them where to go, what to do, and it's one of the things that we teach you inside the blueprint. So
it's really awesome, guys. I'm so glad that you are enjoying this. Jason, I'm so glad we got to have you finally on. I haven't seen you since before COVID. I'm glad you lost that COVID-15. It was getting a little bit tough.
I know, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, my friend. I'm so glad to see you. Go email Jason at jason@goseejason.com. The website is go2dayblueprint.com. And if you have any other questions, let us know. Guys, if you're finding this valuable and you actually want us to keep going and you enjoy what you're seeing here, please go ahead and like us on Facebook. That's investorparty.com. If you've got questions, you can join the party at community.investorparty.com. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. Again, I am Jacob, your hostess with the mostest. And until next time, party on. Take care.
Bye, guys.
See ya.